Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2021 Proven User Conference. My name is Taylor Carmichael, and I'm one of the software trainers here with CanM Systems. In today's production track, which is being sponsored by Invisitag, we will be discussing Proven e-signature that was officially released last year in October 2020, but we've had many new development advancements over the last few months that I want to share with you and how this feature can be impactful for your business. While many businesses and organizations have been able to reopen their physical offices over the last few months during this last year of uncertainty with COVID 19, there are still many offices that remain closed, and there are several extra precautionary actions that can be made in order to not only protect your employees, but also your customers. Without the right technology advancements in place, obtaining in person signatures on documentation with pen and paper can create a number of challenges to maintain safe social distancing recommendations, and that is where Proven e-signature can help. Proven Job Management's electronic signature capture feature allows users to obtain signatures on forms and documents remotely, efficiently, and most importantly, safely. Proven e-signature consolidates your business systems needs and provides a touchless, systematic solution for companies to send documents online and track the progression of documents that have been sent remotely for e-signature requests, all while assisting to avoid any potentially unsafe personal interactions with one another. Just a couple housekeeping items before we get started. All attendees have been muted during today's session to cut down on any background noise or interference with another user's experience. We also recommend that all attendees turn off their web cameras to cut down on distractions. This session's recording will be made available to you via your company's assigned Dropbox account, and it will also be uploaded to the PSA help library. A PDF proven e-signature user guide outlining what we are covering in today's session is available from our support department, and you can reach out to support by emailing support@canmsys.com, and we will be happy to help you. Questions can be entered in within the Zoom chat box at any time during the session, and I will review those questions at the end. If we happen to run out of time and your question is not addressed during this session, there will be an FAQ guide that will be sent once the conference concludes that contains all questions and answers asked during the duration of the conference. Thank you again for joining us today, and I hope you enjoy this production track. On today's agenda, we will be reviewing the following topics together. Role securities to determine what team members have the ability to utilize the e-signature feature and functionality. We will review our company settings to determine the signature expiration and how long we want the link to remain active. We will take a look at the custom form setup to ensure we are using e-signature compatible types and validation expressions. We will add the custom form on a job. I will show you how to create the e-signature request. I will also show you the recipient signature process for what this looks like from the customer's viewpoint. We will review the finalized signed document and audit trail. And lastly, I will show you how to resend expired e-signature requests. Now let's navigate into Proven Job Management and take a look at our role securities. Within Settings, Roles, I will select the applicable role name and then click Edit next to that role name. The e-signature securities lives inside the General tab and then Document Signing. As you can see, I'm presented with three options of Cancel Request, Create Request, and View Request. The Cancel Request button allows you the ability to cancel the e-signature request within a certain time frame. The Create Request allows the user to prepare and send a custom form for e-signature request, and the View Request option allows the users the ability to view the audit details of when the form was sent, whom it was sent by, the IP address of where it was signed, etc. Once you make any changes to your role securities, always ensure to select Save. Once we have the proper role securities in place, let's navigate to our company settings. I first want to take a look at the Jobs tab and then click on the Notifications subtab. I specifically want to bring your attention to the area where it says Default Number of Hours the signature link is active. Enter values between 1 to 168. This is defining the expiration date of e-signature requests. By default, each database is set up with a default link expiration for 8 hours. However, you certainly have the ability to manipulate this as long as the numerical value is anywhere between 1 hour to 168 hours, which is approximately 1 week long. In this training demo database, I have already modified my settings from the default of 8 to 48 hours. This is allowing my customer 2 days to sign any documentation that is sent from PJM before that e-signature request link expires. Once the expiration timeframe has been defined, let's ensure that our custom forms are set up properly and are e-signature compatible. So let's navigate to our General tab and select Edit Custom Forms. The custom form that I want to take a look at is this job completion form. So I'm going to select Edit next to the right of this. Now, this section of Proven Job Management is a very advanced area. If you are ever unsure about the custom form setup and need help navigating this screen, please reach out to our support department by emailing support@canamsys.com, and we will be happy to help you with this screen. The 3 main columns specific for e-signature purposes are Type, Validation Expression, and Validation Format. The Type column is essentially where I am defining the action the customer must take. There are 4 specific types that must be used in order to be compatible with e-signature. And those 4 types are as follows: signee name, initial, signature, and signing input stage. The signing input stage is our newest addition, and it allows the customer to remotely sign documents and also further interact with a document in terms of checkboxes, radio buttons, drop-down selections, and entering any text that they want to be captured at the time of e-signature. The validation expression column can be used for different purposes. It can be utilized for defining radio button options, drop-down selectors, or it can be used in my personal favorite method of grouping. If you have a custom form that requires multiple interactions from the same individual, the validation expression column allows you to group those signing actions together and package them into one request link as opposed to multiple. It also helps better organize the signing order when prepping the document for a signature request from a job. So as you can see here, I have 5 areas where I have defined the customer. That is my action of grouping those types together into a singular package for that customer. So again, this is great for individuals that have multiple signing areas within a single document. The validation format column works in conjunction with our new signing input stage. As you can see down here at the bottom, I have a very specific code entered in that is specifically looking up to the numerical value located in the cloud icon next to the line item containing my defined signing input stages. For example, my radio button, I'm looking at question mark number 689, which is defined within my code along with other numerical values as well. By entering the corresponding number, this is telling the system the functionality that I want my form to have when the customer receives the request to sign and enter in other specific data in which I want my customer to interact with. Within the validation format column, you can also define if you have any optional signatures. For example, if you have a custom form created with a signature area for property owner and property co-owner, the property co-owner signature should not be required since that isn't always going to be a valid signature. To ensure a signature is not required, you do have the ability to denote that signature as optional. So within this validation format here, if I wanted to say that this signature field here was optional, I could enter in :OPT as my code, and the system will let you bypass entering in a recipient for this specific signature field. Once any changes have been made to the custom form setup, always ensure to select Save in your upper top left corner. We also have this blue button to allow the user to preview e-signature input. So when I click on this button here, I can essentially select my validation expression that we defined here, my grouping per se. So I am choosing that I am the customer, and then I'm going to choose preview. This option is allowing you to preview the customer signing input stages and how they will be presented to the customer at the time of e-signature request. As you can see in this example, I have my radio buttons here. So this is just showing me what this will look like from my customer's viewpoint. We have our checkbox selectors, our drop-down list, and then our customer will be asked to enter in comments. Again, this is just a preview. Now that our custom form setup has been defined, let's prepare a document for e-signature request for a specific job. So I'm going to click in my upper left-hand corner my Proven Job Management logo, which does serve as a hyperlink. The job that I want to send an e-signature request for is Sheila Travis. So I'm going to select Edit next to this job to open it up. From here, we are selecting the Attachments tab. I'm selecting the Forms sub-tab. From my drop-down list, I'm going to search for the applicable form that I want to produce. I want to send the job completion form, and now I'm selecting Add. By default, we are operating in our thumbnail view, but for e-signature purposes, we need to change our view from the default of thumbnail to our list view icon over here on the far right-hand side. Once in the list view, we will select the blue hyperlink of the custom form title. So here's the one that I just populated. I'm going to click on this hyperlink here. Now this page that we're viewing here is what I refer to as the data entry or setup mode. As you can see, several pieces of information automatically inserted themselves because within the custom form setup, they were selected as fill from options, meaning if the information exists on the Info tab, Dates or Relationships tab within my job, it has the ability to pre-fill here to cut down on any unnecessary data entry. When I scroll down to the bottom, you can see the customer actions. Now, technically speaking, if you were standing in front of a customer with a mobile device, whether that is a cell phone or iPad, you could absolutely get this form signed in person electronically. Please be cognizant that electronic signature capture has two methods. The first method is in-person electronic signatures by signing with a stylus or your finger. And the second option is sending that custom off for a remote e-signature request, which is what this training session is focusing on. I just wanted you to be aware that both options do indeed exist today. Because I am sending this form off for a remote e-signature request, I'm going to ignore the bottom half of this form for my customer actions and signing capabilities here. I'm going to scroll back up to the top and I'm going to select Save. And once saved, I'm now going to click my orange Back to List icon. This will take me back to my Attachments tab where I left off, and now you can see here I have a blue small paper airplane icon. This is imperative to click on to finish your e-signature request. So let's click on that icon. Now this screen looks very similar to our Notes tab, but you'll notice that we are existent still on our Attachments tab. We are defining the body of text to send to our customer along with the e-signature request link. I strongly suggest to utilize log note templates to predefine your body of text. So let's select our log note template. I'm going to utilize this job completion e-signature request template that I have created and select plus add. As you can see in this example, my log note template has been predefined to insert mail merged fields of the customer name, the actual completion date, my project manager, and the claim address. The usage of log note templates drastically reduces any unnecessary data entry, especially if you find yourself typing the same paragraph or instructions and manually changing the job or customer name with each email. When I search for my customer name of Sheila Travis, the email address that populates is the email defined within the relationships record up top. If the email address does not exist within the relationships record, the name will not populate from this list. Once selected and you click on the plus add button, you will choose the applicable signing field for the recipient. The signing field directly correlates to those groupings that we created in the validation expression columns within our company settings. So once I have defined my signing field for the recipient, I'm going to select Save. The hours link is active, will populate here based upon what you have set up within your company settings. Again, you can override this numerical value and enter in a different value as long as it is between 1 to 168 hours. This determines how long your customer has to sign the document before the link expires. Now let's go ahead and select Save. And I just received confirmation that the signing request was created successfully. Now my customer will receive this request to their email instantaneously. Previously, there was a 15-minute recall window, but at the request of you, our users, this has been removed as of April 20th. Customers have the ability to view and sign the document either via a desktop or laptop computer. Or if they have email address on their phones, they can access and sign the form from their mobile device as well. Now let's take a look at the e-signature request that the customer receives so we can look at this document from the customer viewpoint. As you can see here, I can see the log note template that was defined and then the blue hyperlink to sign the document. If the customer has a question and selects to reply to this email, because the email generated is uniquely tied to a PJM job, a log note will automatically be captured with the customer's communication. And depending on your user settings for log note notifications, you could opt to receive the email notification as well that a reply had been received to this e-signature request. Now let's click on this blue hyperlink and open up that e-signature request. I will be prompted to confirm my identity. Once I click yes, I will be prompted to sign and enter any signing input stages. If I select no, the document will be voided. Also, in a recent release, customers now have the ability to review and exit out of this form and be able to return to it at a later time, as long as the time frame is still within the defined hours link is active period. In this example, that would be 48 hours. Previously, once the identity was confirmed, you could not exit out of the document and return to sign it at a later date and time, but we now do offer that functionality thanks to your feedback. Once my identity has been confirmed, I'm going to select yes here. I can now review the document to ensure accuracy before placing my signature. The blue sign button has been moved to the leftmost corner of the screen to help with better visibility when signing on a mobile device. Once we are ready to sign, let's click this blue sign button. We can enter in our radio buttons. So I'm going to give Can-Am Systems a 10 out of 10. How likely are you to use Can-Am again? Likely. How likely are you to recommend Can-Am to a friend or family member? And then your comments. Each of these signing input stages are required. So if you find a customer that does not want to enter in a comment, they must type in some sort of alpha character in order to be able to move on from this screen to actually be able to insert their signature on the document. So they could enter in N/A for not applicable and then select the next button. If a field was missing on these signing input stages,
I would not be able to select next, and the option would be grayed out. Since all of my signing input stages have been entered and are complete, my next button has been activated. And now I have the ability to enter in my initial and my signature. Depending on the device that you're operating within, you can enter in your initial or signature via a mouse, stylus, finger, or you can choose a file to upload an image of your signature. I'm going to use my mouse to enter in my initial, and then my signature. Now we need to place a check mark saying that I have read the attached document and understand that once applied, my signature is legally binding. Once selected, we are going to select Save. Once saved and all parties have signed the document, you will be prompted to download a completed copy of the document. The original employee requester of the e-signature link will receive an automated copy to their email address. Also, the job attachments will save a PDF copy that automatically saves onto the Documents subtab of the specific job. So we can click on this blue hyperlink to download the signed copy so I can show you what this looks like. Open. We can see our job details up here at the top. Those were our fill from mail merge codes. We see our signing input stages, our radio buttons, checkboxes, drop-downs. We see our text comments. All of these were defined with those signing input stages and that validation code that we entered in within our custom form setup area. And then we can see our customer signature initial and then an automated date and time capture of when the document was signed. Now let's go back into Proven Job Management. I'm on my Attachments tab of my job, and now I'm going to go to my Documents tab. You can see the copy that was automatically saved for us includes the date and time that the document was signed in its entirety by all parties. I'm now going to go from my Documents tab to my Forms tab. Again, I'm on List View. This is important for e-signature purposes. And the reason why I wanted to go back to the Forms subtab is because this is where your audit details live of that specific e-signature request. We can see when the request was created, whom it was signed by, when the link was sent, when the form was signed and by whom, as well as the location and the IP address of the individual. If a customer does not sign a document in the defined hours link is active time frame, the document will then be considered expired. As opposed to restarting the e-signature request process within the Forms tab and then List View, which is where we are currently, you can see that I have a blue hyperlink under my sign date that says expired. And the system will ask me when I click on this, are you sure you want to resend this request? And you can simply click yes. And then I just received confirmation that the signing request has been resent to that customer and the expired blue hyperlink has been removed. For future development purposes, it is on the docket to have an e-signature request tab located within the Control Center. While this feature does not exist today, please understand that it is in the development queue for a future release. This new tab in the Control Center will allow you to see at a database level what documents have been signed, what documents are nearing expiration, and what documents have been expired. This view would be incredibly beneficial in order to see any work authorizations, certificate of completions, etc. that need to be received and followed up on with the customer. In summary, we have discussed role securities and company settings. I have shown you how to edit the custom form setup area. I have shown you how to add a form on a job and prep that form for e-signature request. I've shown you what this looks like from a customer standpoint and their specific signature process. I've shown you the finalized documents and the audit trail, and also how to resend those expired links. I hope you have enjoyed the session on Proven e-signature. I'm now going to open the floor for any questions that you might have. Please enter your questions in the Zoom chat box below. Thank you.